welcome to Most Haunted Extra. Today we are in Bodelwyddan Castle. Well, we've just arrived at Bodelwyddan Castle. I had to get the teeth around that one. What a beautiful, beautiful place. It really is stunning.
It's a fantastic place. It's this superb castle-like structure. Obviously, it was never built as a castle. It was built as a house, as a farmhouse. It was only built as a castle in the 1830s, although the building originally goes back from the farmhouse from 1461. Yes, from 1461. Which is fantastic to think it's been here for that amount of time.
It's a lovely old castle. It's everything you think about as a castle. It's just absolutely stunning, and inside is even better. Though I've not perused the full area just of yet because I've not been here all that long. I've only been here so.
I'm actually really excited about this place because it's in such a beautiful, beautiful setting. You've got the lush mountains, and then you can actually see the sea from here as well, and it's just beautiful. I actually grew up in North Wales, so it's quite a special place.
It's daytime. I don't feel too frightened. I don't feel too uncomfortable here. I feel quite comfortable. Hopefully that will dissipate and I'll fall later.
The place is looking great. The weather's had a cleansing in, and it's getting a bit greyer, a bit windier, a bit colder. And it's going to be an exciting night, I think. The atmosphere is already changing.
Footsteps have been heard in the cellar and above the cellar. Now above the cellar that can be accountable for. What I can understand is people have been down there working and they've heard footsteps above, and there's been no one else in the castle whatsoever. So who's that we don't know. Hopefully we'll find out tonight. So for all you chaps back at home who are going to be sitting in the luxury of your own armchair with a cup of tea and the fire on, have a thought for me.
I've had a wander already, and it's a strange one. It's not at all eerie or spooky. It's got lots of reported sightings of ghosts, and it's even got bones bricked up in the wall for whatever reason. Fascinating thing for me is this was used during the First World War, requisitioned by the army as an officer's mess and hospital. Soldiers died here. But what I'm really interested in is outside. There are some trenches that were dug in the First World War to train the soldiers before they went over to France. I want to go out there on my own, and I'm doing it alone. I'm going to sit in the trenches and see what comes to me.
It looks fantastic. It looks absolutely wonderful. So I'm really looking forward to the walk around, to doing some stuff later, and the seance, etc., etc., and see what we get. What's really interesting though is ordinarily when I come on locations, I take my time and maybe open up a switch on if you like, maybe a bit later, or just before we do the walk rounds or before we start to do any work. However, here, no sooner was I through the door and walking up to where we were just sitting having a coffee, etc. It's all started not picking up too much specifically, but highly, highly aware of spirit around me, which again, I have to say, until I switch on really, it doesn't normally happen. It's clearly something strong, expecting good things.
I don't know what to expect at all. No idea. I'm not even going to guess on this one. Could be really bad where nothing happens whatsoever, or it could be really, really good. I'm really excited. I don't know why I've got a good feeling about this place, so we shall see.
just got back from the walk around, night walk around with David Wells, and immediately the dynamics of the walk around were quite different because of the process involved in David getting apparent messages from the other side. He's already stated to me that he's not a names and date man. He very much focuses on emotion. He feels that emotion, when it comes to getting psychic messages and also getting mediumship messages, is very much the focus. So I was expecting a lot of focus on emotion as we walked around.
He picked up on a John Williams, who's quite a large chap, and apparently he's here, so let's hope we can contact him later on.
Very strong presence, one male, one female. The female in particular interests me. A sensitive woman, a woman that clearly is carrying a lot of grief. Fantastic moment where she practically led me through a series of rooms, three, maybe even 4 rooms, to one room that I felt was significant, and I didn't really know why.
Going into a room with David Wells, and he actually mentioned that there was a lady who was picking up as Amelia or Emily. We were in this room and we heard sort of wind coming down through the chimney, and I pointed my torch and I said, "Oh, who's that a picture of?" And above the fireplace was a portrait of a lady in a Victorian dress. Almost how David described this spirit that he was picking up on. And when we looked at the name, it was Amelia. So we thought, well, that's pretty good. That's really close.
She's certainly, again, very well educated for the time. She's a very well educated woman. I'm trying to see if there's a link between him and the man. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting that link. I am getting a name, which is N. And it's still not this room. I think we need to go through another room. Seems to be another room. So she's trying to lead me to an entertaining space. She's trying to show me a big table, and she's trying to show me. She's saying these would be the words. She's kind of showing off these things.
Who's that woman? Is that her?
It's certainly similar to the way she looks.
What's her name?
Amelia.
No way!
There you go.
That's pretty close.
Amelia.
Oh my god! So do you think that's her?
It could very well be her. This room has significance for her. That's fascinating, the way that, from nowhere this woman led us specifically to that room for a reason, which, Yvette got there suddenly in her head. She didn't know why, she hadn't been in that room before, like myself. There it was. I've just been on a vigil with Yvette, John, Tom and Kieran.
When we went down into the cellar, I think some of the noises there were quite unusual, and certainly when I put Tom's headphones on and listened through his more sensitive mic, heard something that was some sort of dragging sound. Appeared to be coming from into the cellar, if not outside, coming from the outside door.
It's really blowing in the microphone. It does. It just sounds to me like someone's going. So then John decides to bang on the doors and say, "Can anybody hear us?"
And we thought we had disturbed somebody, and we were hearing voices. Not voices in our head, we were hearing voices outside, as though somebody was worried that we were being trapped or something like that.
We thought we disturbed a crew upstairs doing a vigil, and that they were all going to come down, and it sounded like they were rushing to try and get us. Of course, when we went up later on to the crew room, they never even heard us banging, they didn't make any noise, they hadn't moved, and apparently there was nobody outside at the time. So that noise was really peculiar. We went and checked with Kieran where the dragging noise could have come from outside the cellar, and there was nothing there really. We thought it could have been rats or something like that, but it was just too much of a regular noise, and it was frightening at times. I have to say that cellar is not a nice place.
What I did find interesting about being down there during the vigil is that when you chat, when you have a conversation between a few of you, more things happen. And this is what I always say, when you're not really intently looking, something happens.
No one's really scared, but we're all quite apprehensive. No one seems to like the cellar. I've been down there, and it doesn't seem too bad to me yet. But actually, I like to go after it.
I've just come back from the cellar. And what went on down there was just pure crazy at the end of the day. And they say,
Wow, that was absolutely fantastic. I have just come back from what I consider to be personally the most amazing sitting, i.e. seance, and moving the glass around. It was unbelievable. As soon as we put our fingers on there, the glass was off. It was moving around. Turns out it was a relative of Carl's.
There were some very personal questions asked about my granddad. I took my finger off the glass because I was the one who knew the answers, and obviously I didn't want to be accused of moving the glass myself. So I took my finger off the glass and I asked the questions through David, and the questions were answered all correctly. What can I make of that? Is my granddad with me? He seemed to think he was. He said he was. He answered the questions that only I knew. Every single person around that table I did trust. I do trust explicitly not to move that glass, and the information that was coming out was very, very specific.
Carl got a little bit emotional, had to leave the table. And then I said, oh, I really want to speak to my grandmother. Me. And my grandmother came through. And David actually said, oh, I hope this is the right one because I can hear the knitting needles. And she used to be such a huge knitter. So straight away I was like, oh my God. And everything I asked her was bang on, was right, and I became a bit upset. My grandmother left after she had managed to lift the glass off the table at one side, which I've never seen before or experienced. The glass moved towards me and I felt something was holding my hand, that she was holding my hand. It was so icy cold, it was unbelievable.
Whereabouts? Okay, it's just one specific area, just so that she knows.
It's almost like maybe somebody's holding your hand.
A cold hand on you.
And then of course we got hold of John Williams Jr., who supposedly had murdered somebody here. And he was very angry, he didn't want to move on. And the atmosphere had changed from, you know, speaking to Carl's grandfather and my grandmother, it was all happy and jolly, and the next minute it completely changed and it became quite sinister and frightening. Well, I've just come back from a vigil with the girls, and we went into the sculpture room. Basically, we were in there, we were calling out to see if anybody was there, and the door at the far end started making a sort of movement as if there was a draft pushing the door. We slowly went towards it, and it was locked. So we thought, well, it must be a draft. As I leant down, I actually heard this. It was like a man's deep sigh in my ear. Well, I completely lost the plot. They were saying, did you hear that noise? Did you hear that noise? And I said, I heard it. And she said, what did you hear? And I said, it sounded like a heavy sigh, like a sort of noise, and it was exactly what she heard. I'm hearing just recently a lot of these sighings, laughter, crying, or in my ear, and I'm thinking, I'm going mad. So when other people say they hear it too, it makes me feel a lot better. And it really was a very frightening noise, and I didn't like it at all.
What I thought was you went to go, I've just seen something. And when you all screamed around, I was sort of stood there going, what? I actually thought it was you. I didn't think it was.
We got back, and since then some of the guys have come back from the vigil in the cellar, and well, it's all just gone crazy down there. They were doing some table tipping, and this table just wouldn't stop moving and literally flew across the room.
Well, I just don't know where to begin. Of all the shows, of all the programmes I've been on, I have never, ever experienced what happened tonight. I'm still shaking. I've never been so frightened in all my life, and I've also never been so elated and excited.
I've just come back from the cellar with Carl and Felix.
And we didn't like the atmosphere when we went down there, and we found a table. So we preempted the whole thing and we did some table tilting.
I'm absolutely amazed. I'm kind of rethinking some of the things I believe in. Richard and I have always had this kind of disagreement about table tipping. I've never really bought into it. But tonight something happened which was very strange. It got very cold and it seemed the table rocked to such a degree you couldn't push it. And I trust Richard and I trust Stuart explicitly, and you know that no one could be pushing that. The table moved, it just flew across the floor.
And I ask you to be happy there. Please go and leave this place. Godspeed. Please go. And we say goodbye.
Christ! Fucking mighty, what the...
I've got hold of it.
Right, I'm doing no more. What went on down there was just pure crazy at the end of the day. There's nothing else I can say, and it words can't describe how I felt. At one point, Richard Felix was actually crying. Now, that's the first time I've seen a grown man on this set cry. I was a bit scared. I was shitting myself, I'll admit that.
I was shaking like a leaf, the sort of feeling that comes up all the way up your back, up the back of your neck, and your hair stands up on the back of your head. I've never had anything so convincing as what happened down there. It's the nearest thing I've come, and you get this incredible sensation that a spirit is with you, and it's very, very frightening. It was bloody marvellous.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it really has made me start thinking maybe twice about my belief in tabletop. Because something happened, wasn't there? I don't know what happened, but something definitely happened.
How are you feeling, Richard?
Frightened to death. Frightened to death. I've never experienced anything like it in my life. I've got a cross around me. I only started wearing this after... I'm not a religious person, you know that, don't you? I just have this cross around my neck since at Craigie Noss place. I'm not going anywhere on my own now. I was going off to the trenches, but I don't honestly think I've ever been so frightened.
Bodelwyddan Castle is superb. It's been great. We've connected with the right things. We've got information. We've got stuff.
I've always told you there were ghosts. I know there were ghosts, and tonight even more so. I'm even more convinced than ever before. I know through you watching the programme you can think, yeah, it's all fake. They're making a TV programme. But I swear to you, what you saw tonight really, genuinely happened.
What a fantastic night. It was unbelievable. It really, really was. I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
I'm going home now. It's 5 o'clock. I'm not only tired, I'm not tired because the adrenaline's still going, I am completely and utterly, physically and mentally drained. The whole thing was bloody fantastic.
Very, very interesting indeed. Very interesting. I'll go back to my hotel in a few hours. I don't think I'll sleep. I'll probably lie on the bed for a few hours and think about exactly what's going on at this location because of what's going on. It's been very, very interesting.
There's something about this place, and it seems to, I don't know, some energy or something. It's definitely worth a visit. Definitely. If you're into ghosts, which you must be if you're watching this programme, you have to come here. It's really, really good.
Still no full apparitions yet, but who knows? We're getting closer and things are happening. We're all invigorated right tonight. It's early hours of the morning now and everyone's still running around wondering what to do next. But we've all got to go home now. So we can all be fresh and ready for next week. So thanks so much for watching my Songs Extra. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
It has come to my attention that because I have a lot of experience with North American beavers, specifically Canadian ones, that there is actually a difference between the kind of facial expression that North American beavers have and the ones that Bodelwyddan beavers have. We were quite lucky at about 2 o'clock in the morning to witness a Bodelwyddan beaver express itself facially. The sort of expression I'm talking about is this. As opposed to a North American beaver, of which their facial expression is more like this. I'm sure you'll agree there's a definite difference between the two.
Not bad, William.
Oh, hello, Garrett. How are you?
Oh, I'm very well, but very frightened at the moment.
Oh, I know. I just went down into the cellar and it's ever so frightening. A table moved right in front of my eyes. And Richard Felix was crying and everything. Do you know what, Garrett? I think David Wells has a thing for you.
He is rather sad.
But you know who I like? I like Stuart. Thank you for watching Most Haunted Extra. We'll see you next